What's up, everybody? Welcome to Moment of Clarity. Thanks for joining me. We get to enjoy a little Schadenfreude today because let's talk about Facebook. Let's talk about what they're going through right now. Facebook, or as it's now called Meta, they changed their name because that's when you know something's going well for a company when they have to change their name. That's like when a pedophile has to move to another state and they're like, you call me Carl now. But your name is Johan. Yeah, Carl. It's Carl now. And I've never touched anything under 18 or 21. All older people I've touched, mainly. That's basically what Facebook's done. But honestly, couldn't they do better than Meta? Meta sounds like a name of like a bad high school band. They're like, dude, we're Meta. We're so deep. We'll call the band Meta. And then we'll put out our first single titled Sausage Burrito that we wrote about a sausage burrito it was like a good one that we got at Quiznos. So I just wrote it about some good food I had, but we'll be Meta. Anyway, Meta just had one of their worst days, or I guess their worst day ever. If you look at their stock price, Meta's historic stock drop cost Mark Zuckerberg $31 billion in net worth, the second largest loss of any individual in history. Elon Musk had one worse a while back. Of course, now Elon Musk is the richest man on the planet, so I think he's recovered. But yeah, Mark Zuckerberg briefly dropped out of the world's wealthiest 10 billionaires. But so this article from Fortune is focusing on Zuckerberg. But Meta lost $230 billion of the company's value in a single day yesterday or the day before. And why is it? Well, it's because they had to tell investors that they have seen zero growth. Their shares plummeted 23% in trading. They basically had to tell investors that they've had zero growth over the last quarter. No, on average, if you count the people that dropped off Facebook and the new people signed up, zero it comes out to when you factor those two together. And they're blaming they're blaming, you're like, oh, it's Apple. Well, Apple's decreased our earnings because Apple put in some privacy restrictions. That's what Facebook's complaining about. But beyond just that, I mean, which is fucked up in and of itself. Facebook's entire business model is based on you not having any privacy. Does that tell you something? But beyond just that, Facebook, what was it that people liked about Facebook? One of the major things, yes, there's a fair amount of it was people, over the past, however long they've been around, 10, 15 years, I guess 15 years. One of the biggest things was that you could go on and check whether your ex-girlfriend was dating a guy with a hairier chest than you or whatever the fuck. But so that was some of it. And yes, there's some community aspects, etc. But one of the bigger things that people liked about Facebook is they could get information that was not really allowed on your mainstream media, right? And this means things I agree with and things I disagree with. But people weren't tuning into Facebook to see what CNN said. They could figure that out pretty easy. You just fucking flip on CNN, which is on every goddamn TV on the planet. You flip on Fox News and you could get that whenever you wanted, right? It's everywhere. Even the mainstream newspapers, New York Times and that kind of garbage. But on Facebook, you could hear the stuff they don't want to talk about. When I started doing Moment of Clarity years and years ago, one of my first kind of viral videos on Facebook was when I just did a video talking about the only trial ever held on the assassination of Martin Luther King in 1999. Years after he was killed, was the first and only trial ever held on his assassination. And the jurors, after hearing 70 witnesses over days and days, came to the conclusion that he was not killed by James Earl Ray. He was killed by government forces, government agencies. And I just did a video stating that fact, explaining that that was a reality. And it went kind of viral because people had never heard such a thing on CNN or Fox News or any of these garbage outlets, because that's a truth that is not allowed there. But now Facebook has completely gutted the ability of people to get any kind of information that's not allowed on your corporate airwaves. They have become a propagator of just CNN, MSNBC, etc. And I'm not saying that type of garbage should be banned because I'm anti-censorship, but it's like, why would people? I mean, Facebook deleted or shadow banned every page like my own. I'm basically shadow banned on there. Many of you already know this. I mean, I hope we have a few new viewers who don't know everything about me, but many of you already know that I technically still have a huge Facebook page, 330,000 followers, but it's not stuff I post there. It's not shown to anyone. It's shown to a tiny percentage. I mean, every once in a while, I'll calculate the percentage of people that they tell me saw a post, and it'll be like 0.002% of my followers were shown a post of something I put up. So they shadow banned a lot of people. They also outright deleted a lot of pages that were important pages like Free Thought Project, antiwar.com, et cetera, et cetera. So they deleted and banned all these things. By the way, I'm sorry for all the noise if you can hear that. They deleted all. I think that's an alien space ray that might be hitting me. If you can't hear what I'm hearing, then you just think I'm hearing an alien space ray in my head, which might also be true, but it's unrelated. But they sidelined or, suppressed everything that was outside of corporate media. And then now, today, they're surprised that people don't see a lot of value in Facebook anymore. Because what are you going to get there? In terms of information, yes, again, you can go check whether your ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend has a larger chest than you or whatever the fuck. Yes, you can do that as well. But in terms of information, in terms of news, in terms of media, what's really going to be allowed to grow and blossom on Facebook? It's just the same old garbage talking points. And furthermore, Facebook is a very global company. A lot of their users are in many countries. So why would users in places outside the United States want U.S. propaganda? I mean, I don't know why Americans want U.S. propaganda, but especially in other countries, why are they just tuning into Facebook? Hey, let me see what the U.S. propaganda says. But that's what Facebook does now. That's their job. They basically got a little bit of pushback from our government saying, hey, you got to crack down on anything that doesn't go with U.S. talking points. And they said, oh, okay, absolutely. We'll shadow ban anybody that speaks the truth. We'll outright delete tons of pages. And the suppression by Facebook continues to this day against me. One example I did a video on a long time back, a year ago or something, was Rockfin, which some of you may be watching this, rockfin.com/Lee Camp. The one of the heads of Rockfin, when they asked me if I wanted to be on the platform, they said, okay, if you can link us to your, Facebook account, which doesn't mean they'd have control of everything. It just means that they could promote my Rockfin show. And so I was like, all right, if I'm not, like I say, I've never in my life done an ad for anything that wasn't my stuff. But in terms of my stuff, obviously I have to say, hey, watch my stuff, or no one sees it. So I was like, all right, if Rockfin wants to put up a thing that says, hey, watch Lee Camp's channel, or really, I think it mainly would have been promoting posts. So Rockfin would have paid Facebook to have my Rockfin post seen by more people. Anyway, I was like, whatever, if you want to do that, go do it. No, I don't have to do anything. You just want to go do it? All right, go do it. Go ahead, Rockfin. So Rockfin connects to my Facebook page, becomes, whatever, advertising connected. I don't know everything. I'm a fucking comedian, all right? You try and talk about marketing and shit, and I just and I just pass out and hit my head on the desk. I just can't. But not just marketing, but fucking technological shit. Like, hey, we need to, even just forms, just any kind of form. Just here, fill this out. Oh God, I just vomit all over it. It's bad. It's bad. But that's how my brain works. Anyway, so I was like, yeah, do what you want. So they connected my account, and I swear I'm going to get to the end of the story. They connected my account, and immediately, like within days, all the red alarms at Facebook go off that Rockfin has been connected to the incredibly dangerous Lee Camp account. And so Rockfin finally, when I pressed them on what was going on, like weeks later, they go, oh, yeah, we had to disconnect from your account because the moment we did, Facebook threatened to basically delete our account or ban us from promoting Rockfin. So just being connected tangentially to my Facebook account all of a sudden set off all the red flags internally at Facebook against Rockfin. So Rockfin was like, fuck this shit. Like they just stuck their head in a beehive or some shit. No, having Lee Camp as an acquaintance apparently is like sticking your head in an algorithmic beehive. Anyway, all that being said, Facebook just lost $230 billion and Zuckerberg lost $31 billion in a day. And can I act surprised? Is it that surprising to us? They gutted everything that made Facebook useful at all. They like, what was it people loved about Facebook? They loved things like the Bernie Sanders information movement, Occupy, those type of things were allowed to grow on platforms like Facebook, and now they've been completely crushed. So yeah, good riddance, I guess. Well, I mean, what do you fucking, you want us to cry for you, Zuckerberg? All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Keep fighting.